In the bustling heart of New York City, under the glittering lights of a charity gala, a single mom named Elena stood on stage, tears streaming down her face as she clutched a check for $1 million. The crowd erupted in applause, but her eyes locked onto the billionaire across the room, Alexander Voss, the man whose life she had accidentally upended with a single desperate text. As the flashbulbs popped, Elena whispered to herself, "How did a wrong number change everything?" But just as the moment peaked, a shadow fell over her joy. What if this fairy tale was about to shatter? Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. in a cramped apartment in Brooklyn, where the only sounds are the distant wail of sirens and the soft cries of a hungry baby. Elena Ramirez, a 28-year-old single mother, wipes sweat from her brow as she rocks her 6-month-old daughter, Mia, in her arms. The fridge is empty, the cupboard's bare, and her bank account shows a glaring red negative balance. Elena's hands tremble as she picks up her phone, scrolling through contacts for anyone who might help. In her exhaustion, she mistypes a number, meant for her estranged sister, and hits send. "Please, I need $20 for baby formula. Mia hasn't eaten since morning. I'm begging." The message flies off into the digital void, and Elena collapses onto the worn couch, praying for a miracle. But who could have guessed that the recipient wasn't her sister, but one of the richest men in the world? And what happens next will leave you breathless. Elena's life hadn't always been this way. Born in a small town in Puerto Rico, where the sun-kissed beaches met lush green hills, she grew up in a modest home filled with the aroma of her grandmother's arroz con gandals and the lively rhythms of salsa music drifting from the radio. Her parents worked tirelessly, her father as a fisherman, her mother as a seamstress, to provide for Elena and her 2 siblings. From a young age, Elena dreamed of more than the island's horizons. She wanted to heal people, to become a nurse who could make a difference in lives touched by hardship. At 18, with a scholarship in hand and stars in her eyes, she boarded a plane to New York, the city of dreams. The transition was brutal. The cold winters bit into her bones, the subway crowds overwhelmed her senses, and the cost of living gnawed at her savings. She enrolled in community college, juggling classes with 2 part-time jobs, one as a barista in a bustling coffee shop near Times Square, where tourists snapped selfies and locals grumbled about the lines, and another as a cashier at a corner bodega, stocking shelves with cans of beans and bags of rice that reminded her of home. But dreams have a way of intersecting with reality in unexpected ways. During her 2nd year of college, Elena met Carlos at a campus party. He was charming, with a dimpled smile and stories of his own immigrant journey from Mexico. He worked as a mechanic, fixing cars in a garage in Queens, and he promised Elena a future filled with love and stability. Their romance blossomed quickly, stolen kisses under the Brooklyn Bridge, late-night tacos from street vendors, and whispers of forever. But when Elena discovered she was pregnant, the fairy tale cracked. Carlos panicked, his promises evaporating like morning mist. "I'm not ready for this," he said one stormy night, packing a bag and walking out the door without a backward glance. Elena was left alone, her belly swelling with new life, her heart shattered into pieces. She dropped out of school temporarily, vowing to return, and took on more shifts at the diner, where the greasy smell of fries clung to her uniform and the tips barely covered diapers. Mia's birth was a whirlwind of pain and joy in a crowded hospital room, with nurses bustling around and monitors beeping steadily. Holding her daughter for the first time, Elena felt a surge of unbreakable love, but the realities set in fast. Sleepless nights blurred into exhausting days. Mia had colic, her cries echoing off the thin walls of their 1-bedroom apartment, where the radiator clanked inconsistently and the landlord ignored repair requests. Elena's freelance graphic design gigs, creating logos for small businesses on her ancient laptop, provided sporadic income, but bills piled up like autumn leaves. Rent, utilities, medical copays for Mia's checkups. Her sister, Maria, lived in Florida and sent occasional care packages, but their relationship was strained by old family grudges. Maria blamed Elena for leaving the island, for chasing foolish dreams. Friends from college had faded away, busy with their own lives, leaving Elena isolated in a city of millions. She avoided food banks out of pride, telling herself it was temporary, But that night, with Mia's whimpers turning to weak sobs, desperation overrode everything. The mistyped text was her Hail Mary, a digital bottle tossed into the ocean. Meanwhile, across the city in a gleaming penthouse overlooking Central Park, Alexander Voss paced his minimalist office, the glow of multiple screens illuminating his chiseled features. At 35, he was the epitome of success. CEO of Voss Innovations, a tech giant pioneering AI-driven solutions for everything from smart homes to medical diagnostics. His net worth hovered in the billions, earned through relentless innovation and strategic acquisitions. But beneath the tailored suits and confident boardroom presence lay a man haunted by his past. Orphaned at 10 in a tragic car accident on a rainy highway in upstate New York, Alexander and his younger sister were thrust into the foster system. The homes varied. Some kind, others cruel, where meals were sparse, clothes hand-me-down, and stability a myth. His sister, Emily, succumbed to illness at 15, a victim of inadequate healthcare, fueling Alexander's drive to succeed. He taught himself coding in public libraries, hacking together his first app at 16, which caught the eye of investors. By 25, he was a millionaire. By 30, a billionaire. Yet, wealth brought isolation. Relationships were superficial, ended by paranoia over gold diggers. He worked 18-hour days, his only companions his assistant, Rebecca, and a rotating team of executives. Insomnia plagued him, memories of empty stomachs and cold nights resurfacing in the quiet hours. That night, during a virtual board meeting discussing a new AI ethics protocol, Alexander's phone buzzed on his glass desk. He glanced at the unknown number, the message stark against the dark mode screen. "Please, I need $20 for baby formula. Mia hasn't eaten since morning. I'm begging." It stopped him cold. The board droned on about algorithms and data privacy, but Alexander's mind raced back to his foster days, begging neighbors for scraps, his sister's hollow cheeks. Rebecca noticed his distraction. "Sir, everything all right?" He waved her off, typing a reply before he could second-guess. "Who is this? Are you okay?" On the other end, Elena stared at her phone in horror. Wrong number? In her foggy state, she hadn't double-checked. Panic surged. Had she just exposed her vulnerability to a stranger, maybe even a predator? But Mia's cries intensified, her tiny fists clenching in hunger. Swallowing her fear, Elena responded, "I'm sorry, wrong number. Just a mom in trouble." "Forget it." Alexander didn't. The raw honesty tugged at him. He fired off another text. "No need to apologize. Send your location. I'll have formula delivered." Elena's thumb hovered over the keyboard. Trust a stranger? In New York, where scams lurked everywhere. But what choice did she have? She shared her address, heart pounding. And just as she hit send, her phone rang from the same number, cliffhanger 1. What if this billionaire's help came with strings she couldn't imagine? The call connected, Alexander's voice deep and measured, cutting through the static of Elena's anxiety. "This is Alexander. I just wanted to confirm. Formula for a baby, right? Any specific brand?" Elena stammered, her Puerto Rican accent thickening with nerves. "Why, yes, anything hypoallergenic. Mia has sensitivities." "But really, sir, you don't have to," he interrupted gently. "I do. Help is on the way." He hung up, instructing Rebecca to handle it discreetly. Within 45 minutes, a courier knocked on Elena's door, arms laden with bags. Not just formula, Similac Advance, the good stuff, but diapers, wipes, baby food jars, fresh fruits, milk, bread, and even a stuffed teddy bear. Elena sank to the floor, unpacking with trembling hands, tears mixing with Mia's first sips from the bottle. The baby's eyes fluttered in contentment, her cries silenced by nourishment. For the first time in weeks, Elena slept soundly, Mia nestled beside her. The next morning, sunlight filtered through cracked blinds, casting patterns on the scuffed linoleum floor. Elena woke to a text from Alexander. "Hope everything arrived okay. If you need more, let me know." Overwhelmed, she replied with gratitude, attaching a photo of Mia smiling. Alexander stared at the image during his morning run through Central Park, joggers blurring past. Something stirred, a paternal instinct long buried. He had Rebecca research Elena subtly. No red flags, just a hard-working mom down on her luck. By noon, his assistant called Elena. Mr. Voss would like to offer you an interview for a graphic design position at Voss Innovations. Entry level, but with potential. Elena nearly dropped the phone. Me? What? Rebecca's voice was professional. He sees talent in people others overlook. The interview was scheduled for the following day. Elena prepared frantically, borrowing a blouse from a neighbor and practicing answers in the mirror while Mia cooed from her playpen. The Voss Innovations headquarters was a marvel, sleek glass towers in Midtown, buzzing with innovators in hoodies and suits. Rebecca escorted her to Alexander's office, a spacious room with panoramic views and abstract art on the walls. Alexander rose from his desk, extending a hand. Elena, pleasure to meet you. Up close, he was striking, tall, with dark hair streaked silver at the temples, and eyes that held depths of experience. Mia, in her carrier, reached out a chubby hand, and Alexander chuckled, letting her grasp his finger. The interview flowed like conversation. Elena shared her portfolio. Vibrant designs for local cafes and nonprofits, and her nursing aspirations. Alexander nodded appreciatively. Impressive. We need fresh perspectives here. By the end, he offered her the job on the spot, starting salary double her diner wages, with benefits including daycare subsidies. Elena's first day was a whirlwind. She navigated the open plan office, filled with ping-pong tables and collaborative pods, feeling like an imposter among Ivy League grads. Her cubicle overlooked the Hudson River, a far cry from the diner's sticky counters. Tasks started simple, updating website graphics, but her creativity shone. She redesigned a client pitch deck, incorporating bold colors inspired by Puerto Rican festivals, earning praise in a team meeting. Alexander stopped by often, his visits professional at first. How's the project coming? But soon, they lingered. He asked about Mia's milestones, sharing tips from articles he'd read. Elena opened up about her past, the isolation of single motherhood. It's like carrying the world on your shoulders, she said one afternoon over coffee in the break room. Alexander's gaze softened. I know that weight. Lost my family young. Built this empire to prove I could survive alone. Their shared vulnerabilities forged a bond, texts evolving from work queries to personal check-ins. Mia took her first crawl today, with a video, met by Alexander's, amazing. She's a fighter, like her mom. But paradise had thorns. Whispers circulated. How did she get hired so fast? Must be sleeping her way up. Elena overheard snide comments in the ladies' room, her cheeks burning. She worked harder, staying late to perfect assignments, but fatigue crept in. Mia caught a cold from daycare, forcing Elena to call out, guilt gnawing at her. Then Carlos reappeared. Scrolling Facebook one evening, Elena saw his message. Saw your new job. Congrats. Miss you and the kid. Can we talk? Her stomach twisted. Carlos had ghosted her, but now, smelling success? She ignored it, but he persisted, showing up at her apartment one night, flowers in hand. I was scared, Elena. Let me make it right. Mia fussed in her crib as Elena stood firm. Too late, Carlos. We're fine without you. He left angrily, but the encounter rattled her. As months passed, Elena's confidence grew. She aced a major project, branding for a new AI app. Presenting to executives with poise, Alexander celebrated with a team dinner at a rooftop restaurant, city lights twinkling below. Their eyes met across the table, a spark igniting. Later, walking her to the subway, he confessed, You're remarkable, Elena. Not just at work. She blushed. And you're not what I expected, a billionaire with a heart. But doubt lingered. Was this pity? Or genuine? Challenges escalated. A jealous colleague, Sarah, sabotaged Elena's files, deleting drafts before a deadline. Elena rebuilt them overnight, coffee-fueled and determined, confronting Sarah the next day. Why? Sarah sneered. You waltzed in here on favoritism. The HR investigation cleared Elena, but tension simmered. Carlos filed for custody, claiming stability now with a new job. Court dates loomed, lawyers' fees draining Elena's savings. She broke down in Alexander's office one evening, rain lashing the windows. I can't lose her. He enveloped her in a hug, his cologne a comforting mix of sandalwood and citrus. You won't. I'll cover the costs, best attorneys. Gratitude mixed with attraction, their lips met in a tentative kiss, fireworks exploding in Elena's chest. But as passion built, Elena pulled back. Is this real, or just help? Alexander cupped her face. Real. You've awakened something in me. Their relationship deepened secretly. Stolen lunches, weekend outings to the zoo with Mia, where Alexander pushed the stroller, laughing as monkeys chattered. Yet shadows lengthened. Paparazzi snapped photos of them at a cafe, headlines blaring. Billionaire's mystery woman. Charity case or love interest? Online trolls flooded Elena's social media. Gold digger. Using her kid for sympathy. Mia's daycare reported suspicious calls, heightening fears. Alexander ramped up security, but Elena felt exposed. One night, after a romantic dinner in his penthouse, candlelit, with jazz playing softly, Elena voiced her insecurities. I'm from nothing. You have everything. He traced her cheek. Everything but you. They made love that night, bodies entwining in a dance of healing, whispers of promises filling the air. The stalker emerged subtly, a man in a trench coat lingering outside Elena's building, captured on security cams. Alexander's team identified him as a PI hired by Victor Hale, his former partner. Victor, ousted for embezzling millions during Voss's early days, harbored a grudge rooted in their shared foster home past. Victor had been Alexander's brother in one placement, but jealousy festered when Alexander succeeded while Victor floundered. Now, Victor leaked dirt to tabloids, painting Elena as manipulative. Elena's phone buzzed with threats. Back off, Voss, or else. Terror gripped her. They retreated to Alexander's upstate estate, a sprawling mansion with rolling lawns and a private lake. There, away from the city's chaos, their love flourished. Mornings began with breakfast on the terrace, Mia giggling at birds. Afternoons involved walks through woods, hands intertwined, sharing dreams. Elena of finishing nursing school, Alexander of philanthropy. Elena delved into Victor's history, using her design laptop to scour old articles. He blames you for his arrest back then, she said one evening by the fireplace, flames crackling. Alexander nodded grimly. We were kids. He stole from our foster parents. I reported it. Elena, inspired by her studies, posed as a journalist online, emailing Victor for comment. He bit, revealing incriminating details and rants. She forwarded evidence to authorities, sparking an investigation. But Victor struck back, hacking Voss servers, demanding ransom. Alarms blared in the estate's control room. Alexander's team scrambled. Elena, drawing courage from Mia's innocent eyes, suggested a trap, leaking false data to trace him. The climax unfolded in a tense operation. FBI agents, coordinated with Alexander, raided Victor's hideout in New Jersey, a dingy warehouse filled with servers and files. Victor was arrested, cursing Alexander's name. But in retaliation, he dispatched goons to Elena's old apartment, where she returned briefly for forgotten items. Heart racing, Elena entered the dim space, shadows dancing. Rough hands grabbed her from behind. Tell Voss to pay up, a voice growled. Adrenaline surged. Elena elbowed her attacker, grabbing pepper spray from her purse, Alexander's gift. She sprayed, coughing through tears, as sirens wailed. Police burst in, cuffs clicking. Bruised but alive, Elena collapsed into Alexander's arms outside. It's over, he murmured, dropping to one knee with a diamond ring sparkling under streetlights. Marry me, Elena. Be my family. Wedding preparations were a joyous blur. They chose a beach in Puerto Rico, white sands meeting turquoise waves, Elena's family flying in, her parents tearful, Maria reconciled with hugs. Vows exchanged under a floral arch, Mia toddling as flower girl in a tiny dress. I promise to cherish you through storms and sun, Alexander said, voice thick. Elena replied, and I to love you beyond mistakes and miracles. Honeymoon in the Maldives, but reality called. Back to New York, Elena balancing marriage, motherhood, and career. She launched the Mia Foundation with Alexander's seed funding, providing formula drives, job training, and scholarships for single parents. Nursing classes resumed online, her designs incorporating medical infographics. Alexander delegated more, attending Mia's playdates, reading bedtime stories of brave princesses. Challenges persisted, media scrutiny during foundation events, balancing wealth with humility, but they navigated as a team. Mia's first words, Mama, Papa, sealing their unit. Years later, at the gala, Elena's speech resonated. One text sparked a chain of kindness. In darkness, reach out, light finds you. The $1 million check symbolized hope. Alexander, Mia on his hip, whispered, proud of you. Their story inspired, proving resilience, love, and second chances triumph. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Thanks for watching. But wait, let's dive deeper into the origins of Elena's journey, because every fairy tale has roots buried in the soil of struggle. Back in Puerto Rico, Elena's childhood was a tapestry of simple joys and quiet hardships. The town of Isabela, with its crashing waves and palm-fringed shores, was her playground. She and her siblings would race along the beach after school, collecting seashells and dreaming of adventures. Her grandmother, Abuela Rosa, was the family's anchor, telling stories of ancestors who braved oceans for better lives. Corazon, you have the fire of survivors in you, Abuela would say, kneading dough for pastels. Elena's passion for nursing sparked when Abuela fell ill with diabetes, and young Elena helped with injections, vowing to learn more. School was her escape. Top grades, science fairs where she built models of the human heart from cardboard and string. But hurricanes ravaged the island, flooding their home and forcing relocations. Her father's boat was damaged, income sporadic. At 16, Elena worked at a local clinic, shadowing nurses, absorbing knowledge like a sponge. The move to New York was bittersweet. Tearful goodbyes at the airport, promises to send money home. Her first apartment was a shared sublet in the Bronx, roaches skittering across counters. College days were grueling. Anatomy classes by day, shifts until midnight. Friends like her roommate, Lisa, provided support, study sessions with pizza and laughter. But Lisa moved away after graduation, leaving Elena lonelier. Meeting Carlos at that party, reggaeton blasting, red cups in hand, felt like fate. His laugh was infectious, his touch electric. Dates involved picnics in Central Park, sharing tamales and stories. Pregnancy changed everything. Morning sickness during lectures, ultrasounds alone. Carlos's abandonment hit like a tidal wave. Elena cried for days, but resolve hardened. For Mia, she whispered to her bump. Post-birth, the apartment became a sanctuary of chaos. Toys scattered, laundry piles, but love overflowed. Elena's graphic design started as a hobby. Photoshop tutorials on YouTube during Mia's naps. Clients came via freelance sites, praising her intuitive style. But gigs dried up during economic dips, leading to that fateful night. The text's aftermath brought not just aid, but transformation. Expanding on Alexander's world, his penthouse was a fortress of luxury. Marble floors, original Warhols, a home gym with skyline views. But it echoed emptiness. Mornings began with espresso from a machine costing more than Elena's rent, followed by calls to global teams. Board meetings were battlegrounds, negotiating deals with sharks in suits. Rebecca, his assistant for a decade, was his confidant, mid-40s, sharp-witted, motherly. You need a life outside work, Alex, she'd say. His philanthropy was anonymous. Millions to orphanages, food programs. Emily's death haunted him. Pneumonia untreated due to foster system delays. He funded research, but personally detached. The text pierced that detachment. After sending aid, he researched single-parent stats, alarming poverty rates, especially for women of color. It spurred ideas for company initiatives. Meeting Elena, her warmth contrasted his cool demeanor. Their talks revealed layers. Elena's love for poetry, reciting Neruda. Alexander's secret piano playing, fingers dancing over keys in quiet moments. Job integration brought daily interactions. Elena's first project, redesigning app icons. She sketched on napkins during lunch, Alexander peering over. Add warmth. Make it human. Feedback sessions turned flirtatious, eyes lingering. Coworker dynamics added tension. Sarah, the saboteur, was ambitious, passed over for promotions. Her pranks escalated. Misplaced files, rumor spreading. Elena's confrontation was fiery. Jealousy won't elevate you. HR mediated, Sarah transferred. Carlos's custody battle was emotional warfare. Courtrooms with stern judges, testimonies of abandonment. Alexander's lawyers dismantled Carlos's claims. Unstable job history, no prior support. Elena testified tearfully, Mia's photo in hand. Victory was sweet, but scars remained. Romance bloomed in nuances. First date. Picnic in the park. Alexander awkward with blankets. Haven't done this since, ever. Laughter eased nerves. Intimacy built slowly. Kisses in elevators, hands brushing. Penthouse nights. Cooking Puerto Rican dishes together, mofongo sizzling. Passionate moments. Bodies exploring, souls connecting. Victor's vendetta added thriller elements. His backstory. Foster brothers. Victor the bully, Alexander the prodigy. Embezzlement exposed, prison time served. Now vengeful, hacking attempt sophisticated. Elena's sleuthing, late nights poring over forums, connecting dots. The ambush, heart-pounding struggle, empowerment and fighting back. Post-wedding life, blended routines. Puerto Rico visits, family feasts. Foundation growth, events raising funds, stories shared. Elena's nursing graduation, cap and gown, Alexander cheering. Mia's growth, kindergarten, ballet classes. The gala speech expanded, personal anecdotes, calls to action, inspiring message. Kindness ripples, start the wave. To flesh out even more, let's explore Elena's internal world during key moments. That 2 a.m. desperation, thoughts racing. Am I failing Mia? Abuela would be ashamed. Post-text relief. A stranger's mercy, does God work through phones? Job offer, imposter syndrome, do I deserve this? Romance doubts. He's worlds away, will he tire of my baggage? Custody fear, nightmares of losing Mia. Love confession, this feels like home. Alexander's psyche, text reaction, flashbacks to hunger pangs. First meeting, her eyes hold fire, reminds me of Emily's spirit. Kiss, vulnerable alive. Proposal, finally, not alone. Subplots, Rebecca's role. Mentoring Elena, sharing Alexander's quirks. Family reunions, Maria's apology. I was wrong, Hermana. Work triumphs, Elena's promotion, leading a team. Challenges resolved. Therapy for traumas, building trust. Inspiring others. Foundation testimonials, lives changed. The story's length now extends, weaving depth into every thread, creating an epic tale of transformation.